The mansion was quiet at night. The lights were dim in most rooms, and the soft hum of the air conditioning was the only sound that broke the stillness. In the kitchen, a small, flickering light came from the far corner, where someone was moving. The billionaire had been walking down the hall, finishing some late work, when he noticed the light. He paused, curious. The sound of clinking dishes caught his attention, soft but steady. It was unusual to hear anything in the kitchen at this hour. Most people were asleep, and the household ran like clockwork. He walked closer and realized it was the maid's daughter. She was bending over the sink, carefully scrubbing plates and pans, her small hands moving with precision and care. Her hair was tied back in a messy bun, and her uniform was slightly wrinkled, showing signs of a long day. He could see the tired lines on her face. Her eyes looked heavy, and her movements were slow but determined. It was clear she had been at it for hours. He felt a pang of surprise and concern. What could possibly make a young girl work so late at night? He watched her for a few minutes, not wanting to startle her. She hummed softly, lost in her task. She seemed unaware of his presence. Her hands moved automatically, rinsing one plate after another, stacking them neatly. He noticed her small feet shuffling on the cold floor, trying to maintain balance as she reached for utensils and wiped the counters. Her focus was intense, almost as if nothing else in the world existed besides the dishes in front of her. It made him wonder about her life. Most teenagers were sleeping at this hour, dreaming, resting after school. But here she was, working tirelessly, carrying responsibilities far beyond her age. He remembered seeing her in the mornings, walking to the bus stop with her uniform on, her bag heavy with books. She was always polite, always quiet, never complaining. But tonight, he saw another side of her, dedicated, responsible, and silently strong. He thought about her family. The maid had mentioned once that the daughter helped a lot at home. She wasn't just responsible for herself, but she looked after her younger siblings, cooked meals sometimes, and helped with household chores. But he had never imagined it would be like this. She was working at 3 in the morning, long after everyone else had gone to bed, making sure everything was in order. The thought made him uneasy. How many nights had she done this? How many times had she gone without rest just to keep things running smoothly at home? He finally spoke softly, not wanting to startle her. "Are you okay?" he asked. She looked up quickly, surprised, and for a moment, he saw a flash of embarrassment on her face. She quickly nodded, trying to smile, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "I'm fine," she said quietly. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. She bent over the sink again, returning to her work as if nothing had happened. He could see the exhaustion in her movements. Her shoulders were tense, her hands moving slower than before. He realized she didn't need anyone to notice her. She didn't need praise or acknowledgement. She was doing this because she felt it was necessary. And that realization hit him. A young girl working silently in the middle of the night, taking care of things she didn't have to, just to help her family. That level of responsibility and selflessness was rare. It was the kind of determination that came from love, from duty, from understanding that sometimes life demanded sacrifices no one else could see. He stepped back, letting her continue. He didn't want to embarrass her, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. He had seen many people work hard, but there was something different here. This wasn't about ambition or money or recognition. This was about care, about responsibility, about doing what was right even when it was hard. He felt a strange mix of admiration and concern. As he walked back to his office, he couldn't get the image out of his mind. The dim kitchen light, the sound of the dishes, the way she moved with such quiet determination. It stayed with him, even as he returned to his work, even as the night grew deeper. He kept thinking, why was she awake at this hour? Why was she doing this instead of resting, instead of being a normal teenager? There had to be more to the story. The next morning, he found himself watching her from a distance. She walked to the bus stop, her bag on her back, her uniform neat, her step steady. She greeted him politely, but her eyes looked tired. He wanted to ask her why she had been in the kitchen so late, but he held back, not wanting to make her uncomfortable. He decided he would wait, give her time, let her speak when she was ready. He noticed small things. Her shoes were slightly worn, her books were old and frayed, and sometimes she struggled to carry everything without dropping something. It was clear she had a lot on her plate, more than most children her age. But she handled it quietly, without complaint, without seeking attention. The thought made him reflect on his own life. Despite having wealth, comfort, and opportunity, he realized he had never seen such courage and determination in someone so young. Throughout the day, he couldn't stop thinking about her. At meetings, in conversations, even during his phone calls, his mind wandered back to the kitchen and the small figure working so diligently. He felt compelled to understand her situation, to know what drove her to take on so much at such a young age. And deep down, he knew that whatever her reasons were, they would reveal something remarkable about her character. That night, as the house settled again into quiet, he found himself walking past the kitchen once more. The light was off, the sink was empty, and the room was silent. He smiled faintly to himself, knowing she had gone to bed early this time, hoping she got the rest she needed. But he also knew that soon, he would need to speak with her, to understand why a child so young was working so hard, sacrificing sleep, and taking on burdens that should never have been hers alone. The night had left an impression on him, one that would not fade. He realized that sometimes, the most profound stories were not written in newspapers or books, but lived quietly in the lives of people around us. And this young girl, quietly cleaning dishes at 3 a.m., had already written a story of courage, determination, and selflessness that was far beyond her years. He resolved to learn more, to uncover the truth behind her silent struggles, knowing that what he discovered might change both their lives forever. The morning sun streamed through the large windows of the mansion, lighting up the spacious rooms with a warm glow. The billionaire sat in his office, sipping his coffee, but his mind was elsewhere. He kept thinking about the girl he had seen late at night, her dedication, her quiet strength, and the heavy responsibilities she carried at such a young age were on his mind. He couldn't stop wondering why she was working so hard, and why she had skipped school. The thought of her staying up all night cleaning dishes while the world slept troubled him. He decided to observe her a little more from a distance without interfering. He noticed how carefully she handled every task she was given, from carrying groceries to tidying up small messes, always with precision and care. Even when she seemed tired, she never complained. Every movement she made spoke of responsibility, of someone who had learned early in life that hard work was necessary, and sometimes unavoidable. He realized that her strength wasn't just physical, it was emotional, built from experiences that most children her age would never face. As the day went on, he caught glimpses of her walking to the bus stop, her bag filled with books and papers. She greeted the neighbors politely and smiled at the children she passed, but her tired eyes told a different story. She carried the weight of her family on her small shoulders, yet she did so gracefully, without seeking attention. The billionaire could see the effort it took her just to maintain her balance between school, family, and work. He began to understand that the reason she had skipped school was not laziness or carelessness, but something deeper and more personal. He decided to approach her later in the day, during a quiet moment when she was finishing chores in the kitchen. He didn't want to scare her, just to understand. He walked in slowly, not wanting to seem imposing, and asked gently, "Can we talk for a minute?" She looked up, startled, unsure of what to say. She hesitated, her hands still busy wiping the counters. Her face showed a mix of shyness and nervousness, as if speaking about her life was something she wasn't used to. "I saw you last night," he said quietly. "You were working so late. I want to know why you didn't go to school yesterday." She looked down, avoiding his eyes, and for a moment, it seemed she might not answer. But then, she took a deep breath and began to speak. She told him about her family, about how her father had lost his job, and how her mother was not well enough to handle all the household responsibilities. She explained how she had to take care of her younger siblings, cook meals, and manage the household chores, all while keeping up with school. Every word she spoke revealed her struggles, but also her determination to help her family no matter the cost. He listened carefully, never interrupting, feeling a mix of admiration and concern. He realized that her late-night work wasn't just about cleaning dishes. It was about survival, about making sure her family had what they needed. Her sacrifices were silent, unnoticed by most, but they were enormous. The billionaire could not help but feel moved by her courage and selflessness. He had seen many people work hard, but few carried such heavy responsibilities with such quiet dignity. As she spoke, he noticed the exhaustion in her eyes, the way her shoulders slumped slightly, and the occasional pause she took to steady herself. Yet, there was also a spark of pride and determination in her voice. She wanted to help her family, to be strong for them, and she was willing to do whatever it took. The billionaire felt a deep respect for her resilience and the love that motivated her actions. After listening to her story, he realized that he wanted to help, but he wasn't sure how. He knew that simply giving money might not solve everything, and he didn't want to take away her sense of responsibility or the pride she felt in helping her family. He thought carefully about how he could support her in a way that respected her efforts and gave her opportunities to grow. He decided to start by offering support for her education. He spoke gently, explaining that he wanted her to focus on school and that he could help cover any expenses that might be making it difficult for her to attend regularly. She looked surprised, almost afraid to believe him. Her eyes widened, and she shook her head slightly, as if she couldn't imagine such generosity. But he reassured her, telling her that it was not charity, but an investment in her future and recognition of her hard work. Over the next few days, he arranged for school supplies, books, and tutoring to help her catch up on any lessons she had missed. He also made small adjustments in her home life, quietly helping her family with resources they needed, so that she could attend school without worry. Each step he took was measured, careful not to overwhelm her or make her feel indebted, but to provide real support in a way that respected her independence. As the girl adjusted to these changes, the billionaire continued to observe her quietly. He saw her starting to smile more, walking with a lighter step, and engaging more actively in her studies. She still helped her family, but the burden was no longer crushing. She began to dream a little more, to think about her own future beyond immediate responsibilities. He could see the relief and hope in her eyes, and it reminded him of why he had chosen to intervene. Not to take control of her life, but to create opportunities for her to thrive. The billionaire often reflected on what he had learned from her. Despite her youth, she had shown remarkable courage, empathy, and determination. Her actions had reminded him of the value of hard work done for the right reasons and the strength of a person who carries responsibilities quietly, without seeking recognition. It was a lesson he would carry with him, shaping the way he thought about responsibility, generosity, and human resilience. By the end of the week, the atmosphere in the household had changed subtly. The girl moved with more confidence, her interactions with others were brighter, and she seemed less burdened by exhaustion. The billionaire felt a sense of satisfaction, not because he had solved all her problems, but because he had helped create a path for her to pursue her education and maintain her dignity. Her story continued, but now with new hope and support, making her late-night struggles a part of her past rather than a daily reality. He realized that sometimes, understanding and helping someone didn't require grand gestures. It only required patience, attention, and a willingness to listen. The girl had trusted him with her story, and in return, he had found a way to make a difference. This quiet journey of understanding and support would mark the beginning of a deeper bond, one built on respect, empathy, and the shared goal of a brighter future for someone who had shown incredible courage beyond her years. Days turned into weeks, and the billionaire continued to notice small details about the girl he had met in the kitchen. Each time he saw her, he could see the effort she put into her day, balancing school, chores, and helping her family. She never complained, but her eyes sometimes betrayed the exhaustion she felt. He wanted to understand more about her life, to know what made her continue to push herself despite the challenges she faced. One afternoon, he decided to speak with her again, this time more openly. He found her sitting quietly at the kitchen table, reviewing her schoolwork. She looked up as he entered, a little nervous but composed. "How are you doing with your studies?" he asked, sitting across from her. She hesitated, then nodded, explaining that she was managing but sometimes struggled to keep up with everything. Her honesty touched him. She did not try to hide her difficulties, but she also did not exaggerate them. He listened intently as she shared more about her family. Her father had lost his job several months ago, and the family had been relying on whatever small income they could earn. Her mother had been sick, sometimes bedridden for days, leaving her to take care of younger siblings and household tasks. She explained that skipping school was sometimes unavoidable because of these responsibilities. Every word she spoke made him realize the depth of her courage. A child in such circumstances could easily have become disheartened, but she had not given up. The billionaire's heart went out to her. He had seen many people face challenges, but very few showed the resilience and maturity she did. He wanted to do more than just help with her schoolwork. He wanted to ensure she could pursue her dreams without constantly worrying about survival. He thought about how he could support her in a meaningful way, not just temporarily, but in a way that could change her future. He started by quietly providing resources for her family, ensuring that her basic needs were met. Groceries, bills, and medical assistance were taken care of without making her feel dependent. He also arranged tutoring sessions for her in subjects she found difficult, helping her stay on track in school. The girl was initially hesitant, unsure if she deserved such help, but he reassured her that her hard work and dedication had earned it. Slowly, she began to accept the support, feeling a sense of relief she hadn't known before. With the burden of immediate worries lifted, she was able to focus more on her studies. The change was noticeable. Her eyes were brighter, her steps more confident, and her energy levels higher. The billionaire watched as she gradually transformed from a tired, overworked child into a young person capable of focusing on her own growth while still caring for her family. It was a small but significant shift, and he felt a quiet satisfaction knowing that he had made a difference. As time passed, he noticed something else. She began to dream more openly about the future. For the first time, she talked about ambitions beyond simply helping her family survive. She mentioned interests in subjects she enjoyed, skills she wanted to develop, and hopes she had for a career. The billionaire encouraged her, offering guidance, resources, and advice. He emphasized that her potential was not limited by her current struggles, and that she could achieve great things if given the right support and opportunities. The bond between them grew stronger, built on mutual respect and understanding. She trusted him enough to share her challenges and hopes, and he admired her for her perseverance and integrity. They spent time discussing her goals, planning steps she could take to reach them, and addressing obstacles that might stand in her way. The billionaire realized that helping her was not just about material support, but about mentorship, encouragement, and believing in her abilities. Through their conversations, he learned more about her character. She was thoughtful, caring, and determined. She had a strong sense of responsibility but also a kind heart, always thinking about others even when her own needs were pressing. He admired her ability to stay positive in difficult circumstances, to find solutions rather than dwell on problems. It was clear that she had grown up quickly out of necessity, developing skills and emotional intelligence far beyond her years. The billionaire also noticed the subtle ways in which she had impacted the household. Her quiet diligence and care had created a smoother, more organized environment. Even small gestures, like helping her siblings with homework or ensuring chores were completed without fuss, had a noticeable effect. He reflected on the power of dedication and responsibility, and how one person's efforts, no matter how small, could create significant change for those around them. One evening, he saw her working on a school project at the kitchen table. She was focused, carefully arranging her notes and materials, her determination evident. He approached her and asked if she needed any help. She shook her head, smiling politely, but he could see the gratitude in her eyes. It was a small interaction, yet it reinforced the growing trust and connection between them. He realized that offering support, even in small ways, could build confidence and inspire her to reach higher. The billionaire began to think about the long-term impact of his support. He wanted her to not only succeed academically but also develop a sense of self-worth and empowerment. He encouraged her to pursue extracurricular activities, explore her interests, and develop skills that would serve her well in the future. He emphasized the importance of balance, managing responsibilities while also taking time for personal growth and rest. He also reflected on the lessons he was learning from her. Her resilience, selflessness, and determination reminded him of the importance of empathy and understanding. He realized that even in a life of wealth and privilege, observing and supporting someone else's journey could provide profound insights. The experience reinforced his belief in the power of kindness, mentorship, and genuine human connection. Over time, the girl's progress became evident. Her school performance improved, her confidence grew, and her interactions with family and others became more relaxed and joyful. The billionaire felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had played a part in helping her navigate a difficult period of her life. Her story was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of support and encouragement. He continued to watch over her quietly, providing guidance, resources, and encouragement as needed. He did not interfere unnecessarily, respecting her independence and pride, but he remained a steady source of support. Their relationship was built on trust, mutual respect, and shared goals, creating a foundation for her continued growth and success. Through these weeks, the billionaire learned that true strength was not measured by wealth or power, but by resilience, empathy, and the ability to care for others despite personal challenges. The girl had demonstrated these qualities in abundance, and in helping her, he had found a renewed sense of purpose and perspective on life. Her journey, filled with challenges and triumphs, became a living lesson in courage, dedication, and the quiet impact one person can have on the world around them. As the days continued, he knew that this was only the beginning of her story. Her potential was limitless, and with the right guidance and support, she could achieve far more than she had ever imagined. The billionaire felt honored to witness her growth, to offer help, and to learn from her unwavering determination. Her journey was not just inspiring. It was a reminder of the extraordinary strength and potential that resides in every person when given opportunity, care, and belief in themselves. Weeks passed, and the girl's life slowly began to change. The billionaire had arranged for extra support, helping her family with basic needs and ensuring she could focus on school. The relief in her life was noticeable, but she still carried the determination and strength that had first caught his attention. She was no longer just surviving. She was beginning to thrive. The billionaire could see that she was starting to dream about her future, something she hadn't allowed herself to do before. One afternoon, he decided to speak with her about the opportunities ahead. He found her in the library, working quietly on her homework. The room was silent except for the sound of pages turning and her pencil scratching on paper. He approached slowly, careful not to startle her. "I wanted to talk to you about something important," he said gently. She looked up, curious but calm. He sat across from her and explained that he had been impressed by her courage, determination, and the way she had handled her responsibilities. She listened quietly, her eyes wide, unsure of what he might say next. He told her that he wanted to offer her a chance to explore her potential beyond schoolwork and household responsibilities. He spoke about mentorship, opportunities to learn new skills, and guidance to help her achieve her dreams. He emphasized that this was not charity, but recognition of her hard work and determination. She looked at him, a mixture of surprise and gratitude in her expression. She could hardly believe someone cared so much about her future. The billionaire explained that he would provide support for her education, help her develop skills for the future, and offer guidance in pursuing her interests. He stressed that this support was meant to empower her, not to take away her sense of responsibility or independence. He wanted her to grow, to have choices, and to believe in her own abilities. The girl listened carefully, absorbing every word, and slowly nodded. For the first time in a long while, she felt hope for what was possible. Over the next few weeks, she began attending additional tutoring sessions. She explored subjects she had been curious about but hadn't had the chance to study in depth. She also began to learn practical skills like communication, time management, and problem solving, with guidance from the billionaire and his team. Every day brought new lessons, and she grew more confident in her abilities. The work was challenging, but she faced it with the same determination that had carried her through long nights of chores and responsibility. At home, the atmosphere shifted as well. The family felt less pressure, and the girl no longer had to manage every task alone. Her younger siblings were able to spend more time on their studies, and her parents felt relief knowing that help was available. This change allowed her to focus on learning and personal growth, while still contributing to her family in meaningful ways. The billionaire observed these changes with satisfaction, knowing that the support he provided was making a real difference. He continued to meet with her regularly, discussing goals, progress, and challenges. Their conversations were filled with encouragement and practical advice. He emphasized the importance of persistence, curiosity, and self-belief. She began to understand that her potential was not limited by her current circumstances, and that she could aspire to more than she had ever imagined. This realization was empowering, and it inspired her to work even harder in her studies and personal development. As she progressed, the billionaire introduced her to new experiences. She visited his company, observed professionals at work, and learned about different fields and careers. These experiences opened her eyes to possibilities she had never considered. She asked questions, took notes, and reflected on what she saw. Her curiosity was boundless, and she absorbed every lesson with enthusiasm. The billionaire was impressed by her eagerness to learn and her willingness to challenge herself. He also encouraged her to develop her interests outside academics. She began to explore hobbies and creative outlets that brought her joy and allowed her to express herself. She painted, wrote, and participated in small projects that helped her build confidence and discover talents she hadn't known she had. Each new activity reinforced her sense of self-worth and helped her understand that her life could be more than constant struggle. It could be filled with opportunities, growth, and joy. The billionaire continued to provide subtle guidance at home as well. He made sure that the family had access to the resources they needed, but he allowed the girl to take the lead in organizing tasks and managing responsibilities. This balance ensured that she maintained her sense of purpose and pride while also benefiting from support. He observed how this approach encouraged her to take initiative and develop leadership skills, preparing her for a future where she could handle challenges with confidence. As weeks turned into months, the girl's transformation became evident. She was no longer just the hardworking child who stayed up late to complete chores. She had become a young person full of hope, ambition, and confidence. She excelled in school, engaged with her community, and continued to care for her family, but with a newfound sense of balance and possibility. Her life was no longer dictated solely by necessity. She had space to dream, explore, and grow. The billionaire felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had not only witnessed her growth but had also contributed to it in a meaningful way. He realized that providing support, encouragement, and opportunities could have a profound impact on someone's life, especially when combined with their own determination and courage. He admired her resilience and commitment, knowing that these qualities would continue to guide her long after she left the mansion. He also reflected on the lessons he had learned from her. Despite her age and circumstances, she had taught him about perseverance, empathy, and the power of quiet determination. He understood that true strength often comes from facing challenges head-on and supporting others without seeking recognition. Her journey had changed his perspective, reminding him of the importance of mentoring, listening, and fostering growth in others. The girl, for her part, continued to embrace the opportunities presented to her. She approached each day with curiosity, energy, and a desire to learn. She faced challenges with resilience, celebrated successes with humility, and maintained a caring attitude toward her family and others. Her life was gradually becoming a story of growth, opportunity, and hope, a transformation that had begun with a simple act of noticing, understanding, and supporting someone in need. Through it all, the bond between the billionaire and the girl deepened. It was built on trust, respect, and shared goals, creating a supportive environment where she could thrive. Their relationship was not one of dependency but of mentorship and encouragement, allowing her to grow into her potential while maintaining her independence and sense of responsibility. The billionaire knew that the changes he had helped facilitate were only the beginning. The girl's potential was vast, and with continued guidance, resources, and encouragement, she could achieve remarkable things. Her story was a testament to the impact of understanding, support, and belief in one's abilities. It was also a reminder that sometimes, the most meaningful transformations come not from wealth or power alone, but from compassion, attention, and the willingness to help someone realize their own strength and potential. As the days continued, the girl's confidence grew alongside her skills. She began to envision a future filled with possibilities she had once thought unreachable. She understood that she could contribute to her family, community, and society in meaningful ways. Her journey, shaped by challenge, support, and determination, became an inspiring story of resilience and growth. A story that would continue to unfold in remarkable ways, guided by her own courage and the quiet mentorship that had helped light the path forward. Months had passed since the billionaire first noticed the girl working late at night. Her life had slowly transformed, but her determination and kindness remained unchanged. She had learned to balance her responsibilities, and now she could focus on her studies and personal growth without the constant worry of managing everything alone. The change was visible not only in her demeanor but also in the energy she brought to her daily life. She walked taller, smiled more, and faced challenges with renewed strength. The billionaire continued to guide her, offering mentorship and advice on her studies and future plans. They often discussed her dreams and aspirations, exploring possibilities she had never considered before. He encouraged her to think beyond her current circumstances, to aim high, and to embrace opportunities for growth. She listened intently, inspired by his words and motivated to work harder toward her goals. The confidence she gained allowed her to explore her potential fully. Her family noticed the change as well. The tension and worry that had hung over the household began to lift. Her younger siblings found more support and attention at home, and her parents felt relief knowing she was no longer burdened with the weight of endless responsibilities. The atmosphere at home became warmer, lighter, and more encouraging. It was a quiet transformation, but one that made a lasting impact on everyone around her. At school, she began to excel. The extra tutoring and guidance helped her understand subjects she had struggled with, and her hard work and determination shone through in her results. Teachers noticed her improvement and dedication, often commenting on her maturity and focus. Her confidence grew with each success, and she began to participate more actively in class. The sense of accomplishment fueled her motivation to keep pushing forward, proving to herself that she could achieve great things despite her earlier challenges. The billionaire also introduced her to new experiences beyond academics. He arranged for her to visit different workplaces, attend workshops, and meet professionals in various fields. These experiences expanded her horizons, giving her a glimpse into what life could offer if she continued to work hard and pursue her dreams. She asked questions, took notes, and observed everything with curiosity and eagerness. Each new experience was a step toward building her future, and she embraced them with excitement and determination. In addition to learning, she explored her creative interests. She discovered hobbies and talents she had never had the chance to pursue before. Painting, writing, and participating in community projects became part of her routine, helping her build confidence and express herself. These activities allowed her to balance her responsibilities with personal growth, providing joy and fulfillment that had been missing from her life. The billionaire encouraged her to continue exploring her interests, understanding that personal development was as important as academic success. The bond between the billionaire and the girl grew stronger over time. It was built on mutual respect, trust, and shared goals. She valued his guidance and wisdom, while he admired her resilience, empathy, and determination. Their relationship was not about dependency, but about mentorship and support, allowing her to develop independence while still having a reliable source of encouragement. He continued to provide advice and resources when needed, helping her navigate obstacles and seize opportunities. One day, as she worked on a school project, the billionaire observed her determination and focus. She was fully immersed in her task, taking care to ensure every detail was perfect. he realized that her growth was not just in knowledge and skills, but in character. She had become more confident, thoughtful, and capable, ready to face challenges with composure and courage. It was a proud moment for him, seeing her transform into a young person who could confidently navigate her future. The girl, for her part, was aware of the changes in her life. She understood that the support she received was not just about assistance, but about belief in her potential. She felt empowered to dream bigger and work harder. She began to imagine a future where she could achieve her goals, contribute to her family's well-being, and make a difference in the world around her. Each day, she grew more determined to succeed, fueled by the combination of guidance, opportunity, and her own resilience. At home, the family continued to adjust to the new balance. The parents were grateful for the support, and her younger siblings thrived with more attention and care. The girl's responsibilities were still important, but they were manageable, allowing her to focus on her education and personal growth. The family dynamic improved, creating a nurturing environment that encouraged learning, exploration, and mutual support. This stability and harmony reinforced her confidence and motivation. Over time, she also developed leadership skills. She began helping her siblings with schoolwork, guiding them with patience and understanding. She took initiative in household tasks, organizing schedules, and finding solutions to everyday problems. The billionaire observed how her experiences and guidance had shaped her into a capable, responsible, and compassionate young person. Her growth was holistic, encompassing academics, personal development, and family responsibilities. The billionaire often reflected on the lessons he had learned from her journey. Despite facing significant challenges at a young age, she had demonstrated resilience, empathy, and determination. He realized that true strength was not measured by wealth or power, but by character, perseverance, and the ability to overcome obstacles with grace. Her story had taught him the value of patience, understanding, and meaningful support. As she continued to progress, she began to envision long-term goals for herself. She dreamed of a career that could make a positive impact, continuing to help her family while also contributing to society. The guidance she received, combined with her natural determination, gave her the confidence to pursue these aspirations. She understood that her life was no longer limited by circumstances, and that her choices and efforts could shape her future in meaningful ways. The billionaire remained a steady presence in her life, offering mentorship and advice while respecting her independence. He celebrated her successes, encouraged her through challenges, and helped her see opportunities where she once saw obstacles. Their relationship exemplified the power of guidance, support, and belief in someone's potential. Through this bond, she learned not only skills and knowledge, but also the importance of perseverance, integrity, and self-belief. Months after their first meeting, the girl had transformed significantly. She was no longer the exhausted, overworked child who stayed up late cleaning dishes. She had grown into a confident, capable, and thoughtful young person, ready to embrace her future with optimism and determination. Her journey was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, the power of support, and the impact of kindness and mentorship. She had turned challenges into opportunities, showing that resilience, determination, and the right guidance could create remarkable change. The billionaire watched her with pride and admiration. He realized that sometimes the most meaningful impact one could have on the world came from noticing, understanding, and supporting the potential in others. Her story, beginning with a quiet act of dedication in the middle of the night, had blossomed into a tale of growth, opportunity, and hope. It was a reminder that every person, no matter their circumstances, had the capacity to achieve greatness with encouragement, guidance, and self-belief. As her story continued to unfold, the girl remained focused, determined, and hopeful. She embraced each day with energy and curiosity, committed to learning, growing, and contributing to the lives of those around her. Her transformation was complete in spirit, and the path ahead was bright. The lessons she had learned, the guidance she had received, and her unwavering resilience had prepared her to face the future with confidence, courage, and a sense of purpose. Her journey, from working late nights to achieving her dreams, became an inspiring story of perseverance, mentorship, and the extraordinary potential within every human being.